Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of our Slappin Pickle podcast. So, today's episode, as promised, we are going to tell our very exciting and enticing story about how we met. But first, we got to get something out of the way. So, today's episode is brought to you by our very first sponsor, our good friend, Lauren Seeley, Realtor. Realtor's not her last name, but
I know,
but you get it. She's a realtor. She's a very excellent realtor. If you guys are in the market for a home or want to buy some land, she can certainly help you out. It's great service, white glove service, mind you, with a great smile, awesome personality. She's been around for quite a while, so give her a shout.
We'll put her information at the end of the episode so you guys can have it. But I said, shout out to her. Yeah, I mean, she's awesome.
She helped us get this house. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. So.
All right. So enough of the corporate sellout crap. So how should we get started?
So this episode is about how we met. Do we have a special title, or are we just going to say how we met?
Well, the title will be put when they see the
intro.
Intro.
You had said, because he got real creative with his title. I was like, whatever. Yeah. He's like, from what?
From MySpace to My Place.
And there's a reason why.
It's literally how that happened, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, but anyway, if you guys can, leave us comments below this video. We'll put it up in YouTube, on Facebook. Just tell us how you guys met your better half. Was it funny? Was it sad? Was it coincidence? Was it a one-night stand? Let us know. We're very curious. We like to hear people's stories.
Was it at the WIC office, Planned Parenthood, Walgreens?
No, seriously, we do. We really want to know. And I'm pretty sure other people are like, hey, that's awesome. That's how I met, my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, Sancho.
That's how I met my fourth baby daddy.
Yeah, exactly. So please leave us your comments below. We would love to read them. Yes. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this started. So get your snacks and your drinks. Dan has, his drink ready. I have my coffee. And if anybody knows me, I love The Office. So today we're talking about false. It's not. I have some coffee so you can wake me up.
I'm just rocking Sprite. I ran out of beer.
So let's get this started. Like I said, once again, let's get this started. So let's go from the beginning. This was back on MySpace. You young people, you're like, what is that? Just Google it. I'm pretty sure it's still there. I think they erased my account because I stopped using it like 14 years ago.
Ugh.
I don't know what happened to my MySpace. I know I can create beautiful pictures in the background and create a profile song depending on my mood, if I was sad, if I was cheating.
I mean, MySpace was so ahead of its time. It was such an awesome thing, and I only found out about MySpace because a good friend of ours, of mine that we used to hang out with when we were, young and dumb, he said, hey man, I got a MySpace, you should try this thing. And, he kind of set it up for my little group of friends, and man, that thing just snowballed like really, really quick, but it was great, because you could do
a search. Okay, yeah. So if you guys use MySpace, it's very different from Facebook.
Very.
Here, you can actually pick, I'm looking for somebody between, 20 to 24, Hispanic.
A little extra pounds.
No, I think they called it, what did they call it? Extra pounds?
A little extra pounds.
And then chunky, I don't know what it is. Athletic, build, whatever. And then how tall, what religion.
What race, if you're Hispanic, Anglo.
Yes. What salary. Remember? Yeah. I was like, ew. I was broke. I was a student at the time.
You had all 10 fingers or one leg, half an eye.
So because of that, Dan searched, I don't know, he knows more of the details than I do, but he searched up short girls, because you guys should put your height too. Remember, you can
what I put in the search was girl of my dreams.
One result, right? One result,
and it was yours.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So tell me, what did you search for? I think you've told me once, and I was like, whatever.
So I mean, back then, my MO was thick, chubby girls. So I would fancy myself a chubby chaser, if you will. I used to hit up Yahoo chat rooms, AOL chat rooms, MSN chat rooms, and I always had some stupid handle like Chubby Chaser 999 or
Teddy Bear.
Teddy Bear. And it was always the same thing. Hey, any girls out there looking for a cuddly teddy bear? What's your ASL? Hit me up, blah, blah, blah. So MySpace kind of gave me that freedom to search, really. So as I'm going down the long list of potential candidates, this one profile catches my eye. I don't know if you want to consider this catfishing, but it wasn't really catfishing, but it's catfishing now. But back then it was just, perception and camera tricks and camera angles, right? So it's this chick, she's kind of like doing the, oh, I'm so bored, some guy talk to me. I still remember it. She's wearing this pink top. She's showing some cleavage. I'm like, whoa, look, I just want to motorboat that shit, So boom, I click add, on a friend request. So I'm like just waiting, like the kid waiting for his Amazon package, damn, is she going to accept my request or not?
At the time, me and my boyfriend had taken a break. So we weren't together. I know. So I had suggested let's take a break with some stuff going on. So I had a bunch of guys messaging me to add me, whatever. And I was like, all of them are perverts. Trust me, I'm not like the best looking girl out there, but for some reason,
yes, you are.
But for some reason, when I put not in relationship or single, you had all these mañosos out there trying to add you as a friend. And every time I would add one, they would message me and they're like, hey, baby girl, what are you doing tonight? Hey, in an unsolicited dick picture. And I'm like, trust me, I'm all about that. But I'm like, dude, at least Manscaped or something. Like, where is it? I was so disappointed in so many levels. And I was like, delete. And then I saw him and I'm like, but he didn't say anything. He was just like, add as a friend. And I was like, okay. So I started asking all these guys, why do you want to add me as a friend? And that's why I got a lot of responses. They were like, oh, so I can motorboat you. Or, oh, I said, get bend you over. Oh, girl. And like all these stupid things. I'm like, at the time, believe it or not, I was just like, nah, whatever. Delete. And he was like, oh, cute about it. He's like, oh, because I think you're beautiful. I'm like, and that's it? He's like, yeah, you look like a cool person that, I would like to talk to. You
look like you have a really nice personality, But back then, it's like, okay, you're wearing a hot pink shirt and showing some cleavage. Yeah, you got a great personality. Talk to me.
So I added him, right? But that's the funny thing that I didn't talk to him for weeks. I think I added him in September, sometime in September. Mid-September, because I remember I got back with my boyfriend a few days before my birthday that year, and when he finally got the courage to message me, I was like,
whoa, me?
Yeah.
No, you messaged me because, see, I was an avid blog writer back then, so I would, air out all my shit on MySpace blogs and see who would read it and contribute, and this one got all, all up. She got excited with
anyway, we started talking on chatting. And then the conversation came across. He's like, oh, so you're single? And I was like, yeah, whatever. And like I said, it was just conversations here and there. And then he would contact me or I would contact him. Hey, how are things going? Whatever. He was like, hey, I noticed that you're doing this. It just like little small conversations, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing good. And he's like, I think I mentioned like, oh, I'm going to go out to dinner for my birthday with my boyfriend. He's like, whoa, I thought you were single. And I was like, it's complicated. We were split for a while, but we got back together. We're going to try to work things out. Sorry, guys. Sorry about the glitch. The camera decided to be like, oh, sleep mode. So we had to turn it back on.
Damn it. So where were we?
Where were we? So we were in the part where I had gone back with my ex. Well, my boyfriend, sorry. My boyfriend. We're going to work things out. And he was like, what? Like, why? What's going on? And I'm like, nah, it's all right. It's complicated. He's like, why? And this, like, he just wanted to find out more.
I mean, I was excited. I mean, when you see a chick with big boobs and she's posting pictures of her sitting reverse cowboy on a chair showing her fake ass tramp stamp. It was cherries, by the way. It turns out it was fake.
It was fake because it was all faded, all raspado.
Big old letdown, man. I was like, oh man, she's a rebel. It's fucking fake from Cracker Jack box or some shit. But anyway, go ahead, continue.
what were we talking about? You went off on the trans stamp thing, and I'm just like, where were we? Oh,
how I was distraught because you got back with your boyfriend.
But it didn't stop him. Like, he just continued on, like, hey, how are things going? And I guess he was trying to pick, like, how stable is his relationship. And I told him, look, I've been with this guy almost 6 years. I go, we just had a rough year. He's like, oh, yeah, well, you know, and he was just making small comments like, you know, we should go out, we should hang out, y quién sabe qué, quién sabe qué. I'm like, okay.
It was a long distance relationship, so I knew I had a shot.
Yeah, and it goes towards the end of the year, and I think that once the year began, that's when I was lonely majority of the time, because I was by myself here in SA, and he went back to our hometown. So majority of the time I was just working, going to school, and I was just, you know what I mean? I wasn't doing anything. And he kept me company. I always told him, you know, you were a really good friend of mine. You were like checking up on me, making sure things okay. How are things going? How's school doing? Like, just in general, he was having conversations versus, you know, the other individual I was with, you know, he was dealing with some stuff in his life. And, you know, I would talk to him, hey, how are things going? He's like, well, how do things are going? I don't have a job. You know, I don't want to go to school. I'm just here. And I'm like, sorry about that, you know. So you want me to, well, you know, what else are you doing in your life? And he was like, nothing. Like, you know what I mean? After a while, as a person, you're just like, I want to talk to somebody who's going to talk back to me. So I called him up. You know, one time I was like, hey, what are you doing? And he's all like, just call me. Y yo, mi mamona. I called him private. And he even said, like, why are you calling me private? I go, we've been talking on Yahoo and, you know, MySpace all this time. Yeah. Like, I don't know you. Like, what are you, a creeper or whatever? Because I dealt with a creeper. And we're going to make another episode about that, the creepers, because I had some serious people that just...
They were weird.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, so I called him and then I slipped up.
How does that song go? He used to call me on my cell phone.
I slipped up one of those times. I guess I was in a hurry, whatever. And I called him. He's like, is this your cell phone? And I'm like, crap. I was like, yeah. So now he started texting me, started calling me. And, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. We had really good conversations. Like, even to this day, we've been together for 16 years. We have really good conversations. The stupidest shit.
Long conversations, yes. Like upwards to 4 or 5 in the morning, you know, starting like at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night.
And it wasn't flirtatious. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't flirtatious. It was like stupid, like, guess what happened? Or this isn't this. And hey, have you ever heard, like, just interesting topics? And
have you seen that movie, you know, or, you know, have you read this book or have you been to this mall?
Yeah, it was just like random stuff. And it was good to have a conversation with somebody who, you know what I mean? It was giving you feedback and giving you a reaction to something. And I told him, I go, I enjoyed so many nights just talking. Like I said, nothing sexual. I can guarantee you guys, and I'm always going to be honest with you guys. I will tell you off the bat, yeah, we're talking about dick and titties. No, we weren't. You know, and then eventually December came along and he was like, hey, we should hang out. I'm like, no, sabes que, like, things are getting better with my boyfriend. He's like, okay, whatever. So he kind of gave up on me. He's like, this girl probably isn't going to let go of this serious relationship he's in. So I'm going to move on.
Hey, what was that stupid phrase that you had told me? My book's already written. He's written my pages, blah, blah, blah.
It's so cheesy. I hate it when you bring it
you were
up.
So adamant about that shit. You know, it's like, no, my book's already written. There's no more pages to be written. I was like, okay. You know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, challenge accepted. Okay. I got a big pen I can fill stuff in with.
But after a while, I guess he was just like content with having me as a friend. He's like, fine.
I really was. For the record, you were the only girl I never had phone sex with. Ever.
To this day, we haven't had phone sex.
Never had like a sexualized conversation ever. Every other girl I've ever spoken to or ever had interest in, there was some sort of sex talk that happened. You know, like,
it's news to me, guys. I just learned something. I just learned something new from him today.
Oh. Continue.
Yes. So, you know, January came along and New Year's, whatever. And I told him, hey, Happy New Year's. And he's like, hey, I think he was like partying with some friends. I don't know. Maybe he might have been lying to me because he's the type of guy that you invite him somewhere. He'll be like, yeah. And then like 11 o'clock, you're like, I'm tired. So I'm pretty sure one of his friends, we're going to call him Nick. I'm pretty sure he was hanging out with him and Nick was just like, whatever.
Sorry, bro.
I know. You're a cool guy. So January came along, and at this time I was 100% living by myself. It was me, and then my brother lived with me, and then had a relative living with us. So it was three of us in an apartment. Because I was going to school and working, and then I don't know, I started liking him more. Like, I was like, I'm very curious to know what this guy looks like in person. We hadn't met in person yet. We had talked on the phone. We had texted each other. We saw each other on webcam, the shitty ass resolution on that stupid Dell that I had. Hold on, I'm going to take out my earrings. It's making too much noise.
Yeah, funny story about the webcam. You know, I think I was working at this service center at the time. You know, I'd wear a wife beater under my shirt. You know, for those of you that aren't savvy with the lingo, a wife beater is basically a tank top for guys, a shirt, so to speak, right? And she used to tease me, "Oh, I really like your shoulders." So, you know, when I would turn on my webcam, I'd make sure I was sitting like this. You know, my shoulders all popped out. I'd be like, "Hey, Mayra, how's it going?" You know,
his fucking vein was popping out on his head, and he's like. And I'm just like, dude, you need to like relax. Like, I just made one small comment.
I mean, guys, when a girl tells you, "Hey, I really like this part of your body," aren't you going to showcase that shit off? That's like saying, "Hey, man, look at this collector's item. I've gotten this glass
I like
case."
your kneecaps.
Fuck yeah, I'll show you my kneecaps.
So
they're not scaly and black like some ones are, calloused and shit.
Yeah, so we did see each other through webcam. Crappy resolution. Back in the day, it's when they had just come out too.
You used to show me your calves, remember? Because you were all big into.
Well, because I keep telling her. I keep telling him, I'm a big girl.
She's like, I'm really short.
Yeah, I'm short and I'm a big girl. He's like, I like big girls. No. I'm a big girl, and he's like, I like big girls. I'm like, okay, I'm fat. Okay.
She was really being modest. She was.
I was. Well, I don't know. That I think about it, I think it was a little bit thinner. I don't know. But I told him I'm big. And he's like, well, let me see. And I showed him. He's like, no, you're pretty good. I'm like, whatever. I'll you know what I mean? Whatever. So anyway, in February, we started getting a little bit more, not serious in our friendship, but he became a really good friend. And I'm like, I really want to meet this guy. So I was going to ask him to come to my apartment and I would make him dinner for Valentine's Day. So I used to work at a children's center a long time ago. And I got out and I was like, okay, I'm going to stop at the supermarket. I'm going to buy this because, honestly, I think I'm a pretty decent cook. So I was like, let me show this guy.
Never gotten me sick.
Pepto, but so I stop at the convenience store. I'm sorry, not the convenience store, the supermarket. I got the stuff and I'm calling him and he didn't answer. I was like, okay, he gets out at 5:30, so maybe he's still working, whatever.
Already tracking.
So no, and then I was like, okay, he called me and I'm there shopping for the stuff. I'm buying. I think I was gonna make like milanesa, mashed potatoes, and like veggies, and I don't know, say. It was something like milanesa. Andale, something milanesa with a salsa. I don't know. So I'm excited. I'm buying the stuff. I'm already there. And then he's like, I go, where you at? Because I can hear that he's like on the phone, but he's traveling in the car. And I'm like, where you going? He's like, oh, I'm going to meet up this girl. And I'm like, what girl? Like, toda like, I'm so excited for you. But in reality, I was all like, yeah. In reality, I'm like, who the fuck is this chick? Which I shouldn't be fucking jealous because I was with my boyfriend at the time.
Oh, so say that again.
I shouldn't have been jealous because I was with my boyfriend at the time. I know. Boom. So I was like, really? That's so exciting.
As she was slamming the milanesa back into the freezer.
I was still like slowly putting the stuff in my cart. I'm like, whatever. And he's like, yeah, she lives like on the south part of town. I'm going over there. I'm so excited. She's going to make me dinner. And I'm like, I hope he fucking gets churro off of that. But whatever. So he's like, I'll call you after.
I didn't get churro, by the way.
Oh. So he's like, I'll call you after. So I went home, toda triste, all like fatty with my tub of ice cream. I went home, spent Valentine's Day by myself, like cried in my cock-shaped pillow,
Oh my God.
And then he never fucking called me. And I'm just like, este vato, like the food wasn't that fucking great, right? And then he called me.
The dessert was.
I bet you was pudding.
No.
Yeah, caca pudding. I bet you it was.
It was cherry pie.
Guacatela. So he called me like the day after. Oh, it was great. You can sabe que, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So
she was just mad because I was dumb enough to tell her that I got laid, because we were on that friend level. So I thought, oh, she's gonna be happy for me. You know, I got some. You know,
and I'm like, that's so great. Yeah.
I mean, okay, guys, that was pretty stupid. You never want to reveal those kind of details to a female, regardless if she's your fucking friend or not, because that friend may turn out to have some extra benefits later down the line. You know, she might remember that. Oh, you're that type of guy. Forget it. I'm going to save this snack for someone else.
So, así quedó. So, from Feb, he's like, you have such a good memory. I'm like, don't a woman have, there's memes out there that, you know, at 2:47 p.m., we just do. We have this weird thing in our brain that just stamps shit. So, from Valentine's Day all the way to...
It's like spring break, wasn't it? Past spring break or something?
It was my sister's birthday that was coming up. I had invited you and your stupid ass bitch girlfriend. Oh. And he's all like, no, I can't go because she doesn't like to travel because she's bipolar and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. It just didn't fit in my car. I don't know.
Those meds are expensive.
I know.
That I was paying for. But anyway.
He was. We can ask questions if you want. I will answer them for you.
Well, look. We're going to do another episode about exes and people we've used to date or had interactions with. So let's stay on track.
Okay. True, because we're talkative people, so we will go off track. Yes. We have if you see us looking to the left, like right now,
we have a cheat sheet.
We have a board. It tells us get your shit back in line. So that's how organized we are.
Yeah, we're not fancy with the teleprompters. It's just a whiteboard with some dry erase markers.
See.
Anyway.
So, and I think April came along and I was like, hey, hi. Because he had been ignoring me from, like I said, from Valentine's Day all the way to April. And I'm like, I was real nice about him. Like, estaba sola. I'm not going to lie to you. I was lonely. My boyfriend at the time was still not, he was just ignoring me. He was having some, I guess, issues. I don't know. He was just out of town and he didn't care. And I would travel back to my hometown and I would spend a few days with him. And it was just not the same. You know, it was very, very different. It wasn't the same when we first started. So I started staying more in San Antonio. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should start exercising. Maybe I should find a fucking hobby. I don't know. Start doing something.
Maybe I should get a real tramp stamp.
For real. And I contacted him thinking, oh man, you know what I mean? He's cool. Maybe we can go out and have drinks or something. You know, I don't know how serious this relationship is. I would know because he stopped calling me and texting me. So I think I messaged him. He has stopped. Okay. So I saw him log on Yahoo Messenger, you know, very old technology. And he popped up and I was like, oh, hey, este vato, you know, he's on. I'm like, hey, how are things going? Nada. And I'm like, okay. Hey, how are things going? Nada. And then again, I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I've been really busy. And I'm like, So after he, you know, did that whole bitchy snap thing at me, I stopped.
Wait,
I was
this was through text. So how could you tell it was bitchy?
I know how to read text messages.
You can't distinguish tone through text.
So I stopped. I left him alone. I'm the type of person, anybody knows me, like, if you don't want me to bother you, I'm not going to bother you, baby girl. I'm going to leave you alone. You know, well, I will. I mean,
what do you expect? I went after you. You shot me down because your book was already written. You know, so I was like, all right, well, let me move on.
And he was. And I was like, no bueno. So I was like, maybe it's a sign from the Lord above that I should try to fix things with my boyfriend. So I tried and we tried. You know, there's another episode we're going to do about that. But we tried and things were still kind of bumpy. And
dry your eyes.
Nobody might, because I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah,
but no, and then, I don't know, things going down the hill for him and his relationship. Get my mom right? Like, after his relationship's going down the shitter, he's all like, hey, Mayra, what are you doing? And I'm like, I thought you were just telling me I'm busy.
So just a quick snapshot into the downhill spiral. So I started to realize, okay, I'm in a toxic relationship. The girl, woman, whatever I'm with, you know, is taking advantage of me. I'm not paying my bills because I'm using that money to take her out, buy her fucking meds, pay for drinks for her and her stupid friends, and then get accused of being butt-ass drunk. It's like, okay, I know I was drunkish back then, but I was very cognizant, very aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wasn't panning out for me, you know, and I needed someone to confide in. You know, and when you're a guy, you can't necessarily confide in other guys about some of that stuff because it's always like, stop being a pussy, or, you know, go chase some snatch somewhere else. You know, and I kind of didn't want to hear that. I wanted more of a shoulder to cry on, so to speak. So I went right back and tried calling Mayra and kind of try to reset that spark.
Yeah, and anybody knows me at a personal level, I'm always gonna listen. I'm always that friend. Like, tell me, you need to vent. Let me know, and I'm not gonna judge you. And I'm not gonna. You ask me for my advice, I'll give it to you. If not, I'll stay quiet. I'll listen to you. So we started talking again, and he started messaging me and calling me, and I think what broke. This is where the juicy part of the story gets going. I had a dream about him, not a clean dream, a dirty dream, and I couldn't get out of my head. And I'm like, yeah, and I was like, why am I having these thoughts about this guy? And I was like, you know what? I'm just whatever. It was just a dream. Maybe it was just I don't know, something in the back of my brain. So I had mentioned in conversation with him, oh yeah, I had a dream about you, but nobody is like, it was a dirty dream. I shouldn't be dreaming about that. He's like, tell me more. I'm like, no, that's fine. Let's drop it. Tell me. Estaba necio. So I told him what it was. And that was the beginning of really like talking about sex.
That's what lit the fire in my loins right there.
I know. So it was my sister's party and whatever, that happened. And then I came back to San Antonio, started working again. And he's like, so we're going to make that dream come true or what? That's when I started seeing his true colors. I'm like, wow, this guy
But you missed the part. Because before he got to that, this one was always fucking testing me. And she wanted to see that I was for real. And I wasn't just going to hit it and quit it, get her pregnant and slip her money for the plan B. So she would ask me stupid questions. And the dumbest one that still lingers in my brain was, because I used to tell her, I haven't got any from my girlfriend. I'm frustrated. I'm stressed out at work, this, that, and the other. And the question pops up. So what would you do if I went over to your house and relieved your stress for you right now? I'm not going to lie. I got fucking half a chub when she's told me that. So I was like, oh, shit, man. So...
And I was saying it, and I'm just going to be very honest with everybody. Sorry to hit this thing. I wasn't getting any either. And I was 22, 23. I can't remember. I was in my early 20s, and that's when you're just like going at it,
like a jackrabbit.
Yeah, and I wasn't at the time, like I said, I was living out of town. I wasn't getting any. The relationship was getting bumpy again, communication-wise. And I'm just like, I need attention. So I started messing with him about that, and he just kept going at it.
Being the very sharp-minded individual that I am, I knew exactly what she was fucking doing.
Yeah.
So I would tell her, honestly, it would just be more than sex. I wouldn't just want that. I'd want more. I'd want a relationship with you.
That was the first time that I was like
melted butter in the hands.
It was like this guy. This other guy I was with, my boyfriend, I had been with him since high school. That's all I've known. So when somebody else comes out and says they like you for your personality and your appearance, and I'm just like, what? You know what I mean? It does. As a girl, as me, and somebody who's very old fashioned, it's brought up old fashioned. Somebody else giving a type of attention, you're just like, oh, this isn't real. I shouldn't be like entertaining this, but I wanted to. And we're gonna have another episode about cheating, which is the next one actually. That's the next episode about cheating. We're not gonna go into details about our history just yet because it's another conversation. But we ended up seeing each other. I met him May 4th. On 35 and Eisenhower at a gas station. And I was scared to meet him at his house.
Tell everybody what time it was.
Oh, I don't know. I think it was
you fucking
no. I think it was like 8 or 9. I don't remember.
Oh, fuck no, it was 10:30.
Yeah, I don't remember. To be honest with you, I don't. So I met him there because I was scared. I'm like, I don't know this guy. I've never met him, but remember, I've been chatting with him for months, and finally got the courage to meet him on May 4th in person. And I was thinking, this guy's gonna roll up in a Mustang or an F-150. Or I think I saw a PT Cruiser coming behind me. I'm like, oh, that's him. Un nuevecito PT Cruiser. No
way.
He came up in this nasty ass yellow banana car, Cavalier.
Whoa. It was not. It was a brand new.
Ish.
No, brand fucking new.
Ish.
Fuck you. Brand new 2005 Chevy Cavalier. 2-door sport coupe. I could take down Mustangs with that shit.
But yeah,
it was just yellow. That was its only fault. That
I remember sitting in my car because I got hungry. Okay, so I got down and got a hot dog, and I'm there with like a hot dog. I know I had the weed in my mouth. And he rolls up in his banana car, and I'm just like, window up.
I mean, you looked so good with that mustard stain on your shirt. I never told you. I
had a mustard stain. So he came to the window. He's like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hey."
I still remember what you were wearing.
Blue jean skirt, and I don't know what shirt I was wearing. I think it was yellow.
The blue jean skirt had like rhinestones in it. You know, that sparkly shit. You probably bought it from Toys R Us, those little bedazzled kits, and made it yourself. You know.
Yeah. So that night.
But I mean, you looked good. I looked in the window. Your fucking piernotas were there. I was like, God damn, your cleavage was showing. The way the light glistened off of your tits and the smell. I never forgot that perfume.
I still have that perfume for that reason.
Yeah,
but
drives me nuts.
So anyway, that day I went to his house.
It was nighttime.
And tell me why this guy took forever to pull his first move. Like, I was so sleepy, and finally, I always tell the story, but I told him, "Are we gonna fuck or what?" You know, it was really like 2:30. He had put Napoleon Dynamite. He had put Real Sex number 33, which is a good episode too, by the way.
It is.
And I'm just like, this guy's trying not even trying. I'm just like, I'm just gonna go home and take a nap. I have to go to work tomorrow I think I went in at 9:30. And he's like, I finally told him, and you know, one thing led to another, and it was a great night. And what does this motherfucker do? It was
glorious.
Yes. What does this motherfucker do? He kicks me out of his house at 5 a.m.
5:48.
Because he's so paranoid. His dumbass girlfriend doesn't know how to drive, doesn't have a car. It's gonna come and waste her time to get up early to come and look at his house to see if he's cheating on her.
Look, you don't want to fuck around with a mega bitch who's fucking bipolar. Okay, she will find a way to get her fucking
He was so paranoid, so he kicked me out, and I'm like so tired. Like
at that time, I lived at the Glen.
Yeah.
Those of you who know your San Antonio geography, it's not the greatest part of town. But
so I you know, the drive of shame, driving back to my apartment.
I could hear the bell from Game of Thrones. Shame,
I know. So I went back, and then I was like, okay, fine. So he went to work, I went to work, and then I got a text, like I think it was like 1 p.m. He's like, hey. I'm like, hey, I miss you. And I'm like, I was like, I got all chiflada, whatever. So that was the start of our, I guess you can call it affair, or I don't even know. We weren't married, but
our affair,
our affair,
our romantic relationship.
Yeah, and we'll go more into detail about that and what was going through our minds and why we did it.
I mean, I was still with my girlfriend.
I was still with my boyfriend.
Both of us were rocky.
Yeah, we did that for a couple of months. I think all of May, June. And finally, I broke it off with my boyfriend at the time.
I broke it with mine first.
Yeah, but she was cheating on him anyway.
Oh, God.
I know. Like I said, don't get into it. We're going to get derailed. But she was, and she played the victim, and he's calling me, he's cheating on me. I'm like, what do you care, dude? You're fucking cheating on her too. But anyway, next episode.
But she did it first.
Yeah. So, you know, I broke it off on somewhere in July. But between May and July, there was a lot of funny things that happened between us. So, like I said, I had broken up with my ex. Well, yeah, my ex. It's sometime in July. I remember it was before his birthday. But so we had this. What really brought us together? What you can really say
it's the glue that bind us.
So he was a heavy drinker when I met him,
and a heavy smoker.
So he quit smoking for me, I think, that year, because it just like penetrates in his pores. His drinking was really out of control, but he was in his 20s, and that's all he knew.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so we went to one of Nick's parties, and he's such an awesome guy. We still know him to this day.
Nick had a lot of fucking parties.
Yeah, he did.
We'd hang out.
Him and his wife had really good parties. So one of those times I went, and then his ex was there, and
Mary,
yeah, she burned some raviolis. I don't know how the fuck you can do that.
Oh, man, she stunk up that fucking house.
Yes, and she was like acting kind of weird, like, oh my gosh, like she was like the coolest person there, and she wasn't.
So tell everybody how I introduced you when I walked you through the house.
This is my lady friend, and I'm like, what the fuck is lady friend? Like,
I was trying to be respectful. I didn't want to say, "Hey, this is my fuck buddy."
And then one of the guys, one of his other friends, I forgot his name, the guy with the thing on his elbow. He's like, "Oh, lady friend, so you guys are not together?" And he's like, "No." He's like, she said, "My lady friend flies on shit." And I'm just like, "Hey, what's up?" He was just there. And then
Marcus, I remember him.
And then Mary was all like, why is he giving her attention? So she got upset, and she was like all over him, and he's like, get away. It was just
it was really awkward.
Anyway, Dan was in the backyard drinking, and I'm not a huge drinker, because I just don't know how to handle drink.
So let me just detail the drinking, because she's making me sound kind of weak here. So Nick and his wife had made these badass fucking Jello shots. I had never had Jello shots, so me being the dude that I was, that got to be the life of the party shit, man, I started downing those Jello shots like nobody's fucking business. I think I must have done like 10 or 15. I finished like half a tray, so then I followed the crowd to the backyard, and I think it was Corona or Dos Equis at the time.
Dos Equis.
Might have been Smirnoff.
No, it was Dos Equis.
It was our usual shit, but man, I downed like 4 in maybe like 3 minutes. So 10 or 15 Jello shots, 4 Dos Equis or Coronas later, I run to the corner of the backyard where Nick had this fucking metal shed, and I just started just puking my brains out. I was like, oh fuck, there was like that scene out of Varsity Blues, give me that beer, I'm fucking covered in puke and shit. So I start smoking my cigs, and this one's like trying to distance herself from me because little did I know she hates fucking cigarettes. She hates the smell of smoke. She's like, I make my head hurt.
He is so fucked up. I had a really good friend that I met when I was here in San Antonio. Her name was Jasmine. No, Jasmine.
Oh, Jasmine. Yeah.
I called her. I'm like, dude, can you pick me up? And she's like, where you at? Somewhere on the south side where I don't know. And I'm like, pretty much in tears because this guy is so fucked up, and he's supposed to be my GPS to go back to my apartment. No. And I'm just like, what the hell did I get myself into? I'm surrounded by strangers. I'm surrounded by his ex that she probably wants me to like do something happen to me.
So while she's in the corner making this phone call, I'm in the kitchen talking with Nick and his wife and the other people there. And I'm like, dude, I don't feel so good, so I go to the restroom. I didn't go to the master restroom because I probably would have fucked that up. So I went to the main restroom, the guest restroom. And I just remember, looking at the pretty toilet cover and the pretty cool looking shower curtain. And next thing I know, I'm on the fucking floor. I'm like praying to the porcelain god, hugging the fucking toilet. And I even think I passed out in there because I remember somebody knocking on the door, and I'm like, oh, what's going on?
All you guys that I never got to thank. Thank you so much, because you guys truly are his friend.
So first, y'all carried me to the bed in the master bedroom. And I remember somebody yelling at me not to throw up in the master bathroom.
And then Nick's wife, poor thing, he's like, here's the trash can. So
sorry again, the fucking thing cut.
I know, we need to do something about that. We're learning, guys, how to do this.
It's an older camera.
Yeah, I know. We're learning. Anyway.
Send us some money, we'll upgrade. Anyway, sponsorship.
I know. Hint, hint.
Nick's wife. You're saying about Nick's wife.
Yeah, Nick's wife came brought a trash can, and he's just throwing up, and then he's like, woo! He's like in the bed thinking he's like the superstar. And I told Nick, can you get him in my car? And he's like, I can't carry him. He's too heavy. So
you were rocking a 2002 Ford Explorer.
Yeah, and I told him it took like 6 guys to carry him out, and all of them were laughing, and they're like, hey, I forgot they call you Cheech, right?
Yeah, that was my name back in the day. Cheech.
Yeah, so all 6 guys carried him out of the house. And he still thinks he's like, woo, like, give me another beer. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude.
It was like what's that movie? Sex Drive. Like, Rob Springer. Woo!
Yes, he was. And he got in my car, and of course he didn't buckle up. And I told him, how do I get home? So Nick is like, you're gonna turn. He said, you're going to get on the street, you're going to turn right, and then you're going to turn right again. You're going to get on 35 and just...
we had to go down 410.
I don't know. He gave me directions. You know what I mean? I was able to follow them because back then we didn't have no GPS in our phone. MapQuest was the answer, and I wasn't near a computer.
Yeah, you had to print that shit out.
Yes. So I figured it out, and then... this guy is hanging out of my car, puking all over the side of my car.
But... we stopped in the middle of 410. I got out and I took a majestic piss.
No, I'm sorry, sir. No, that was in your car. We were in my Explorer. See, that's how many episodes he's had.
That's how many.
Yes. No, this is another party that Nick had. I think it was his birthday.
Oh.
Yes.
That was, oh.
Yes. I'm telling you. I'm telling the story because I was sober.
But I still did it.
So I am driving like 70 miles an hour down 410. I grab his shirt and I twist it on my hand so he doesn't fall out of the car. And he's just throwing up and throwing up and throwing up. And I'm like...
I painted the side of her
Yes. It smells so nasty because he had probably those burned raviolis too.
But I didn't get any inside. That was the important thing.
Yeah. So finally I get to my apartment. And he weighed probably like, what, like 100, well, how much did you weigh? Like 230?
Back then I was 220.
220. And I weighed about 180, maybe 190. I don't know. Oh, whatever. I was less than him. I dragged him from the parking lot all the way to my apartment.
I walked.
No.
You did. She did.
He was like, I was dragging him. And I was like, so this is where it gets nice and fun and interesting.
It's where it gets juicy.
Yes. Well, juicier.
Yeah, it's like the punchline, kind of.
So I close the door behind me and I'm like, what the fuck is that smell? And I'm like, did I step on dog shit? So I turn on my lights and I had what do you call it? A couch with the 2 seats?
Love seat?
Love seat, sorry. A love seat that was colored cream and it was that type of soft like this. Like, you know what I mean? This kind of fabric.
It wasn't microfiber, but it was like plush. Almost.
Yeah, and it had the little creases and everything. Yeah. So I closed the door, turn on the light, and he's like, you know, going back and forth like he was gonna fall. And he's like, I need to sit down. And as soon as he turns around to sit down, I saw shit from his ass crack all the way to his fucking neck. And I'm like, do not sit on my couch. And he's all like, I don't fucking care. He laid down on the floor and I'm just like, oh, this guy shat all over himself.
So what really happened was when I got in her Explorer, she had some chocolate pudding in the seat for God knows what fucking reason.
Spoiled chocolate pudding. And I was like, OMG. So he wasn't living with me at the time. I think, you know.
I wasn't even staying there yet.
No. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this guy? So I dragged him by his arms somehow. And he was crawling into the shower. I undressed him.
I walked.
I'm just his friend. I'm his lady friend.
Yeah, my lady friend.
I undress him and he's halfway crying now because he feels like shit. And I'm pinning him to the restroom wall. The shower wall.
I'm leaning against the corner so I don't fall. And I remember her. She kept pushing me while she was jamming a scrubber up my ass.
I did. I scrubbed his ass crack really good. Like all the way into his gooch and his ball sack and everything.
She got the taint. You know?
I cleaned him real good. I even shampooed his hair.
It's like when you go to the zoo and the keepers are bathing the fucking elephants and they got that big old brush. That's literally what it fucking felt
he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, shut your face. And then I had to get in there with him because I was drenched because the water kept bouncing off his back.
That was fun. I got to see boobies.
No, he didn't. He thinks he did. No. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I take a quick rinse and I got out of the shower first and I'm holding him like this while I'm trying to dry my legs with a towel.
I thought I was sitting in the closet.
No. And I'm like, oh my gosh, stay still. And I'm like, can you stand still for like 2 seconds? I need to put like my chones on and my bra or something. He's like, yeah. He's like this holding his hands. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if this guy falls on top of me, I'm going to die here. So finally, like I'm pushing him back and he went back this. Oh shit! I went back like this he went back on the shower wall, and I went and got dressed, and then I put on my pink shorts on him because that's the only thing I have that's big enough for him.
I said it was pink robe.
No. Pink shorts. I put him on the bed and he just knocks out. But he's scary because he didn't even know at the time he had severe sleep apnea and drinking made it worse. So for the next 3 hours of my life, I was there keeping an eye on this guy, making sure he didn't choke on his vomit, his saliva. He was breathing. It was just ridiculous.
So those of you that don't know what obstructive sleep apnea does and the effect it has on your body, you basically stop breathing. Your brain tells your lungs, hey, stop. And it's like you're holding your breath for, lengthy amounts of time. And then all of a sudden you just start gasping for air. So when you snore really, really bad, it's like your body's trying to suck up all this air, but you're not breathing. And it was pretty scary.
It's pretty bad.
Like that. And of course, drinking made it a lot worse.
So I just wanted to make sure this guy didn't die on my bed. So I just lay down in the corner and watched him, and I had the TV on and I kept falling asleep because I'm tired. It's like 6 a.m. and finally he grunted or he farted. I'm like, okay, he's alive. So I went, got my colcha, I got my stuffed animal, and I went to the couch and I fell asleep. I'm serious, guys. I'm
in the living room.
In the living room, yeah. So I'm there. I think I'm asleep for like 45 minutes. I'm like so tired. I'm knocked out. And then I feel like a presence in front of me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a ghost. And I open my eyes. Jesus. I know it was Jesus. I open my eyes and he's standing in front of me with my pink chones with his arms across his stomach like this, like a T-Rex. And I'm like, what happened? Are you okay?
Were my balls showing? Did I try to teabag you?
I'm pretty sure they were sticking out to the side because they were short pajamas. But he's crying. And I'm like, what is the problem now? Like, I just went to this traumatic shit with you. Like, what's going on? And he's like crying.
I wasn't crying.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And he's like, you're not going to want to spend time with me anymore. And I'm so ashamed. And I'm this and this.
No. I asked you, why are you over here? How come you don't want to sleep in the bed with me?
Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, honestly, I didn't want him to shit on me again. So, and I was just like, I was like, I'll go sleep with you. I was just so tired. I was like, whatever. I'll go sleep next to you. That's going to make you feel better. And then I'm like, come on, let's go. And he's like, it's because I love you. And I'm like, and I remember like, did I just hear that? Or was that like a ghost? Was that just a figment of imagination? And I was like, what'd you say? I love you. He's there with T-Rex arms, whatever. He went back to his bed and I lay down. I knocked out. In the morning, we woke up. I think went to go eat breakfast, right?
Didn't we go meet your parents?
Yes.
We met him in Divine.
Yes, we went to go meet them for something with my uncle's house, and we were dropping off something, and he looked like crap, and my mom's like,
I'm like chugging Sprite.
This is like one of the first times they're meeting him.
Actually, it was the first time they met me. What an impression, right? All fucking hungover.
With his glasses on.
Stinking of piss and Sprite.
Yes. And my dad's like, ¿quién es este? Le dije yo, es un amigo. Ah, sí? Como my dad was very, like, not liking him.
I don't think your dad liked me from the very
beginning. He didn't like you for the first year.
First year? Shit.
He likes you. He likes you.
Now.
Yeah. So, we went on the date and he didn't mention anything about the whole I love you thing. And I'm just like, We went back home. I started cooking lunch, dinner, whatever the heck it was.
It was dinner.
Yeah. And I'm just like, hey.
Well, I'm actually cooking. We're helping each other.
Yeah.
Cook.
And I'm like, hey. So am I like your girlfriend or something? At this time, I had broken up with my ex already. I was already broken up.
And I was broken up with mine.
Yeah. So we were dating. I don't know what you want to call it.
My lady friend.
Oh, yeah, my lady friend. So I told him, so are you your girlfriend or what? And he's like, oh, please tell him the line you told me. Please tell him in your voice.
I'm going to make bumper stickers and t-shirts out of this. But my response to her was, well, I don't tell my friends I love them.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? So is that a yes or a no? He's like, I want you to ask me. He's like, are we in high school? No, but I need you to fucking ask me. And he's like, do you want to be my girlfriend? Like, oh, lame. And I'm like, say it right. Ask me right. And he's like, do you want to be my girlfriend? I'm like, yes.
And meanwhile, the fucking meat is burning.
Torre Seco. But yeah, you know, I mean, after that, we've been together, guys.
The rest is history.
His history. You know, we have more stories, but that was the main story. And I always tell him, like, and then I had to watch his cacachones too, because it was stinking up the whole house, the apartment that I had. It was tiny. I was like, oh my gosh. And that story circles my social media so much every time during July.
But I mean, you gotta understand that's love.
Yeah. What person would go through that shit? Literally. You know, if you didn't care about that person. Like, I was actually really scared that he was gonna die in my bed. I'm like, I can't let this guy, like, he's a cool guy, I can't let him die in my bed. But he was a heavy drinker, and I even told him after that, if we're gonna be together, you need to kind of ease up on that. I go, I want you to be alive, you know, for a while. We're gonna be together for a while. And
that's when he made me quit smoking.
Yes, he did, and he smokes cigars once in a while now. You know, I think that's his treat. At this point now, it's like I'm okay with it. But cigarettes, dude, I don't know what is it with cigarettes and his pores. They just like sink in. They just love him. And it makes my head hurt. That's the reason he quit. My head was just hurting all the time to a point it would turn into migraines. I don't know. I have pussy lungs and a brain. I don't know.
Pussy lungs.
I know, right? It sounds gross. Yeah. But yeah, that's how we met, guys. That's literally how we met. I know this episode's longer than usual, but that's our story. You know, you're trying to squeeze in like a whole year and a half into, you know what I mean? What, an hour, 45 minutes, somewhere on there? Yeah. So after we got together, July 17. Oh, shoot.
July 18th.
18?
Yeah.
That's sad because I always remember.
No, June 18th.
July. It was after Aguil's birthday. So yeah, we got together after his birthday.
Oh yeah, I remember 4th of July you saw fireworks. Twice. Bottle rockets.
6 What kind of metaphors are those? Let me see. July, 6 months after we met in person. 6 months after we met in person, not being together, we got engaged. So we met in May, we got together in July, and we got engaged in November 4th.
Yes, it was right before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. So
man, that's another episode actually.
How that went, it was.
So in that episode, we're going to cover parents and how upbringing has
it's very different from both of us.
Kind of guided our lives. We're very, very different people. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, and then after we got engaged in that November, not even a year passed, and we got officially married through church. So it was very fast for us. And I know some people say, hey, you know, you should be engaged for a year, 2 years. Or some people are still not married, and that's okay. That's your preference. But ours was really fast. And sometimes I told him it freaks me out because I was with my other half for almost 6 years. I think it was like 5.5-ish. I can't remember. And he was with his longest relationship was like 3.5, right?
Yeah, 3.5 with what's her nuts?
Yeah, and nothing ever happened. He never proposed to her. My boyfriend never proposed to me. I think we were just too young. I think he would have proposed to me at that time. It would have been just epic divorce because we were just young. So, but he proposed to me in November and kind of proposed to me in November.
No, I did. There is no kind of.
Yeah, I know you did it. Yeah.
You either do or you don't.
But yeah, our relationship was really fast. And sometimes I tell people, you can just feel it. Like, you just know this person's meant to be. Like I said, I was with him my ex for 6 years, and nothing happened. I was with him for 6 months of knowing him. And just like that, we've been together for 16 years, married for 15. So it happens, guys. It happens. And please let us know how you guys met. You know, I'm very curious to know if our story is the only crazy one out of everybody's, or yours is crazier, or yours is, you know, sad or happy, or even if it's a prior relationship like you guys met, if it was funny as fuck, let us know and share it with us, because we do have a lot of people that are curious.
But please, no imaginary boyfriends or girlfriends.
But yes, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was good to kind of give you a piece of us to you guys. Some of you guys don't know us too much on a personal level, but this is us being very transparent. This is us being people.
This is us being fucking real.
Yeah. And we're talkers, so we're sorry this episode took longer than you expected, but I hope you enjoyed our story time or storytelling. But the next one, I know everybody's so anxious about cheating.
Yep, this is going to be a big episode.
That one, I'm not going to have coffee. I'm not going to have a drink.
No, we're going to have alcohol.
Because I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to explain why I cheated, why I continue cheating, why I cheated multiple times, and he has a lot of them.
I have a much longer track record.
Yes, and like there's different perceptions and aspects and mentalities, but like I said, we're gonna get into that, and we do want feedback. So if you guys will create a post about it, tell us your thoughts about that, so we can read some of them on their next episode. This one we didn't get a chance to post it because it's kind of like still kind of introduction-ish, but the next one, we'll create a post and let us know, is it okay to cheat? Why did you cheat? Do you know anybody who cheated? Yeah. Do you ever go back to that cheater? And
again, if you wanna share your story, you want us to mention something, like we said early on, we will change your name, we will protect your identity. We'll keep you safe, because there are people that are very curious. They're like, hey, my marriage is in the shitter. I've met this person. What do I do with it? Why should I or why shouldn't I? I mean,
is it worth it?
Yeah. Sometimes you can't go tell your best friend because your best friend is married to somebody, and you know that they're going to go tell. They're going to do that honor system thing. So give us some feedback. Give us some questions. Be involved. Mm-hmm. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your input, because we're going to take a deep dive and kind of dissect what's known as the game.
Yeah, this last episode, was introductions. This one is more like, so you get to know us, who we are, and what kind of people we are, and how we met. It wasn't all rainbows and flowers. So it
wasn't out of a storybook or a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, but stay tuned, guys. Okay, we'll see you next week. We'll start putting the post up. This will go on Friday. Every Friday we'll start issuing out our podcast, and we'll put the post for the next episode with your feedback, which is going to be about cheating, cheaters. You tell us, and we'll read your comments out loud, or we'll share your stories through DM if you want to. Change your name, of course, if you want to. It doesn't matter to us.
Yep. And if you don't feel comfortable posting a comment, send us an email. I'll put the link in the description, and I'll flash it at the end of the show.
Yes. So, but thanks, guys, for spending the evening with us. Okay. Hope you have a great weekend. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next Friday.
Later.
Bye.